Hey folks, welcome to episode 5 of Inside EPL. Jerry Lynch here with Rowan Brennan. How are you been?
Very well.
Good week.
Little under the weather
I hear.
earlier in the week, as you know. So, but about £7. Lost about £7. So feeling
Every cloud.
trim for the summer. Every cloud is a silver lining. So back in action now, anyway. So.
Good
What
to
about
hear.
you?
Uneventful week. Not a whole lot going on.
That's always not the worst thing. It's all right.
Leads to
It's
the
all right.
kit launch and didn't
Oh
sign,
yeah.
didn't sign anybody. Peacocks
Yeah,
and
but you like your new kit, don't you?
I love it.
You're a big fan of the new
Big
kit,
fan of it.
and you showed me the ad earlier.
I did leak it about a month before anybody else. If I can put it up, but
Listen,
what do I know?
the man with his finger on the pulse. It's a nice kit, to be fair.
I think it's nice. Yeah.
And the ad is pretty sweet. So yeah, smiles all around.
All peacocks, aren't we? Anyway, the format for tonight, what are we going to talk about?
We got to wrap up a few transfers because it's starting to get into silly season now. With it being August, it is the month the Premiership is going to be starting. So people are starting to try and make moves. Plus, all the preseason stuff has kind of ended. So managers are seeing where their weaknesses are. A little bit of panic has maybe set in.
Yeah.
And maybe some players have upped themselves in value, lowered themselves. So there's a few bits and pieces to cover off there. And then, talk about the top 5 and what they're going to do at for the title, see what weaknesses they might have and what problems they're going to have to overcome if they do want to win that title.
What do they need to win the title?
Essentially.
Based on what they've currently got. And we'll go through a couple of rumours of transfers that look like they're happening. How many cliches can we get in one episode? Because dominoes are starting to fall.
That's it.
Which are helping other teams. I hate cliches. Anyway,
gazumped. I want to use gazumped at some stage.
More twerking for players' moves.
I'm going to be able to use gazumped later on for one of the transfers. Okay. Yes.
Good. Cool. Well, we'll crack up. Firstly, also just to say massive thanks to everyone that's subscribing to the channel, helping us grow, and everyone that's watching the videos. It's been brilliant so far.
It's been awesome.
Massive thanks for that. If you want to support the channel, if you want to see more of what we're doing, subscribe to the channel, like the videos. That feeds the algorithm, which pushes us out to more people looking for similar type of content.
It's been great so far, so keep it up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, great stuff. So we'll crack on. We'll start off with some transfers that have happened. What have you got so far?
I mean, just related to my club, really, West Ham, who have bought no one this summer. It's been
your club?
Crazy, yeah, but they're looking at Maguire and McTominay. So West Ham, they haven't bought anyone. They've got all the money for Rice. They've lost Lanzini, Michael Antonio's another year older, and they haven't really done anything after their European hangover. But there is talk today that there could be a 60 million bid for a combo of Maguire and McTominay. I'd love to throw Van de Beek in there, maybe get it up to 80 million quid, sell them a nice 3-piece suit. But it looks like Maguire and McTominay could be on the move to West Ham. And two players, to be honest, they quite badly need. Having lost Lanzini and Rice, they need something in the midfield. And I think McTominay will bring a lot of energy in there and put a few quid in the coffers for United.
I think the question that everyone wants an answer to here is, who's the jacket, who's the waistcoat, and who's the pants?
Well, Maguire is pants. McTominay can be the jacket because he's nice and big, and Van de Beek, tiny little waist jacket.
Little waistcoat.
I think that answers that question.
Slightly different colour to the
rest.
Good
question, and I quickly answered. I'm glad I came up with that on the spot. So that's it for West Ham. What have you got?
Well, just on West Ham, actually, just to say, this is the captive audience situation, isn't it? We've got the money, we need the players, but everyone knows we have the money and we need the players.
Yeah. They're kind of screwed on that one.
Yeah. I think they might struggle with this. 10 days left till the window closes. There's a lot of clubs starting to make moves. We've said I've kind of rattled through a couple of the smaller ones. Harrison Ashby, good young player at West Ham. I actually thought, Newcastle. I actually thought Leeds would get him last year. He's gone to Swansea on loan for the season, so that's just for the case of getting minutes. And then Axel Disasi.
Gazumped.
United
gazumped. Yeah, United were in for Disasi. He was Ten Hag's number 2 option after we missed out on Kim Min-jae, who is obviously gone to Bayern Munich. Disasi was our second choice. Play centre half, can play at right back. Seems to be doing well in Monaco, French league. I don't know how much you can judge from that. 25 years of age, but Pochettino fancies him, and he's gone in now for, I think it's 38.8,
45 million euro.
Euros,
probably about 38 million pounds.
It's nearly 39 million pounds, and that's been confirmed. So Disasi on his way to Chelsea. So United's search for another defender goes on. So we'll see where that goes.
Luton Town's squad building for their second attempt at promotion to the Premier League the year after next has already started. They have
that's fair.
Brought in Thomas Kaminski from Blackburn for a massive 2.9 million euro. could be a steal, but this is my issue with Luton. They're buying players at the £2 to £5 million mark, which, as we've talked before,
they know what's going to happen.
The new £2.5 million mark is 25 million.
Yes,
and they're buying at the old £2.5 million mark, which is 250,000.
That's it.
So it's
they're out for their bread and milk. They're not really shopping at the top shelf at the moment. But listen, they know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, Kaminsky moves on. Also, Matija Sarkic from Wolves, another player to leave Wolves, and we'll get to Wolves as well. He goes to Millwall for $1.5 million. Wolves continue to hemorrhage players. With nothing happening in the other direction. I suppose we could talk about it now. We can talk about it a little bit later, but Julian Lopetegui's...
Might as well talk about it now.
It's not looking good if you're a Wolves fan for Julian Lopetegui. There's comments came out. We saw his interview with Guillaume Balaguer a couple of weeks ago.
Last week.
We talked about it last week. Which gave across a vibe of a man who was very clearly not happy about situations. Some players have talked about the situation as well. Matt Doherty going back there has said he's fully aware of the situation they have financially. But now you look at reports coming out this week that Lopetegui is looking at possibly packing it in and resigning from Wolves because of broken promises in the transfer market.
Yeah.
Apparently, what he was told was, keep us in the Premier League, then in the summer we'll have a proper go at it and we look to push on to get into European places.
Yeah.
And now the money's not there. Or it's not a case the money's not there, but the financial fair play element is really, really cramping them in what they can and can't do. So it's an interesting one. A very good manager, Lopetegui. It kind of changes how the Wolves situation looks.
Wolves, I mean, even with Lopetegui there, I mean, there's nothing he can do with that squad. I think Wolves are doomed. I don't know. I wanted to put a bet on him to be the first manager to go, whether it be fired or to leave. It looks like he's gonna walk, but they're in big trouble. What I was thinking about this last night, and I think what this could spell real trouble for a lot of other managers in the Premier League if Lopetegui is available. Yeah. I mean, if I was West Ham, I'd be looking at that. Palace, I think they'll stay with Hodgson, but again, it's hard to ignore Lopetegui if someone else comes in and gets him. I'd say Everton might be getting a bit itchy, but again, that's just him jumping into another Wolves, which we'll touch on later. So I think there's a lot of Premier League managers that should be quite worried with Lopetegui potentially leaving Wolves and maybe looking for pastures new.
It's the first year that I can remember in a long time where there's more than one Premier League club financially not great. It's not just Wolves. Forest have got issues now apparently as well. We'll get to that later on the news part of this. There's issues there. Everton have an FFP hanging over their heads as well. And that may restrict a lot of people in terms of buying players, but selling is what they're going to have to do. A lot of teams are now looking at a situation where they're going to be working with very thin squads, but they're going to have to offload players to bring in players. So we said this last week, it's going to be a very different looking Premier League for a lot of teams this year based on signings coming in. But given what's the financial situation of Wolves being historically, they're a large enough side. They're a Birmingham-based team. They're a big club in the last couple of years.
Portugal B a few years ago. They had lots of great players, and they were looking like had one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah, we're tracking 2 years ago. Players.
Yeah, and I don't know what's happened there.
And it's fallen apart. Forest, we can see the issue with them. We'll get to them later on.
Yeah.
Other transfers as well. Arsenal have sold Austin Trusty to Sheffield United for $5.8 million. I can't say an awful lot about Trusty.
No.
$5.8 million to Sheffield United. It's kind of the same kind of indictment for Sheffield United as Luton. It's not, but you could be getting some bargains here. You could be getting some. Heckenbottom could be doing some really
kind
clever
Pereira
moves.
Type players that go to Fulham and they just have a breakout season and fulfill that potential that they weren't able to do with a big club. So.
Yeah, and that can happen. So
what happens.
So yeah, that's that. And then obviously the Highland deal to Manchester United looks, according to Fabrizio Romano, like it's all done and dusted. He said medical done, everything's agreed. Announcement on Saturday. We were talking about this before we went live. The reason it's on Saturday is because he wasn't registered on Thursday, so he can't play unless he was registered. Yesterday. This is Friday. We're recording this, by the way, as well. So it's Thursday yesterday. He would have needed to be registered to play Saturday.
I'm going to Old Trafford tomorrow and raging. I was hoping I'd be... but what I am hoping is they do a Varane kind of thing where they bring him out onto the pitch and he gets an applause. Maybe they want to do that in front of a packed Old Trafford. I think it's against Lens. I would imagine it probably will be a packed house. So really looking forward to it. Sorry?
That's the last game for pre-season?
Is Bilbao on Sunday?
They got 2.
They've got Bilbao and Dublin. So they've got back-to-back games. So it's Lens on Saturday. It's Bilbao on the Sunday. So they've got back-to-back games. I don't know how they're going to field their teams back-to-back like that. I'm sure all 25 players are going to get a bit of a run out. But I hope to see him out there with a scarf over his head. It'd be nice to see him.
Yeah, 72 million, was it?
72 million. Yeah, it's a lot to pay for him. But I mean, people keep bandying out the statistic: 9 goals in 30 odd games in Serie A. It's okay. You look at what the likes of Ivan Toney and Harry Kane and these boys were doing at the age of 20. Very little. Plus those 32 games or 36 games, whatever it might be. He's only played 1900 minutes, and he's got 9 goals.
Yeah.
So he's scoring a goal every 2 games.
Which is good in any league.
At the age of 20. Now, it's Italian league. We've seen big players come from there, like Lukaku, Higuain, Shevchenko, and all these other guys coming from those leagues and just not being able to translate it. But he's 20. He seems to have a lot of movement that Ten Hag likes. He can play very deep and bring the ball into play. So the wing forwards, so the likes of Anthony and Martial are going to come in. I think that's the type of player he wants. That's why he went for Kane, because we saw how Kane did so well dropping deep and playing in the likes of Son a couple of seasons ago when they were on fire. So this is a very versatile forward, young, hungry, quick, strong, decent finishing. And I think it's one that it's a nice ball of clay that I think Ten Hag is looking forward to moulding. So I'm excited, but a lot of responsibility to lead the line for United at the age of 20. But he's no Haaland, and I'm sick of the media making the comparisons. Yes, they're 6'4". Yes, they're blonde. Yes, they're from Scandinavia. Yes, their surname ends in land. That's where it stops. They are entirely different players. If Haaland isn't scoring, he's not doing a whole lot else.
No.
Højlund is going to be able to do a lot more to bring other players into the team. And I'm looking forward to it, but I think it's going to take 2 or 3 years before we see the best of him.
Imagine that lazy journalism.
Imagine. So, we'll see. Hopefully he's there on the weekend.
Fueled by Sky Sports. Rumours. Have you got any more transfers that are confirmed and done?
Yes, Spurs. I think the biggest transfer of the day is Mickey van de Ven. £43 million transfer for Spurs, which is huge, which probably is an indicator that Spurs may accept Bayern's latest bid, which came in today, Friday, of £86 million, which I think is €100 million.
About €100 million, yeah.
That's their final bid. And then Van de Ven is confirmed today as well. Does that mean that they're going to accept Bayern's money? Spurs haven't spent a huge amount, so they still definitely had money there to spend without the Kane fee. But young centre-half coming from Wolfsburg, 22 years of age, 4 years ago was playing in the second tier of the Dutch league and was almost going to be let go. They had a new management team come in. Voldenham is the team, and this new team came in with kind of big ideas from the Ajax style of playing. Van de Ven used to be a striker, believe it or not, and just kind of came further back. They saw the potential in this kid. He's 6'4", but lightning fast and very, very fast. Left footer, and he was rated the best centre back in Bundesliga for interceptions in the top 10, I believe, and he is the quickest centre back in Bundesliga. So he is quite an exciting player. I think Spurs should be really happy with this. One I will definitely be keeping my eye on. And 36 kilometers an hour or something he can run. He's a fast boy. So Spurs fans should be excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing him. Might be a good pick for Fanto.
They have another one as well. Alejo Velez has come in, €15 million, but a young player. So I'd say building up the squad.
It looks like it. It looks like it. Ange seems to have some sort of an idea. But let's see what they do once they get that Kane money. Maybe they're trying to get these big ticket items in before the Kane fee comes in, so they don't get. Maybe they would have paid 60 for Van de Ven. These kind of guys once the Kane money had been received. But I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what this Ange guy does.
I like Ange. We've talked about this before. Yeah. I think he'll do well there. If he gets the right players, and he plays a very fast style of football, it makes sense bringing in a pacey centre back because they will leave gaps at times. You need a player that can recover pretty quickly, so makes sense. Fits there as well. Meant to say about West Ham, Scamacca, the striker. Scamacca, sorry.
Yeah.
Atalanta are trying to buy him from West Ham
to replace Højlund.
Yeah.
Wow. He's going straight back to Serie A.
He did very well at Serie A, and he's kind of struggled in the Premier League.
Well, I mean, he got 9 goals for a poor Sassuolo team. So, but he's a good player. I like a big bruiser like that, 6'5". He's a beast. I'm so sorry he didn't work out at West Ham because there was talk of United looking at him when we were trying to chase a striker last season. This is when we were looking at Scamacca and Belotti and all these kind of guys. But I'm sad to see him go because I was really looking forward to seeing what he could do in the Premiership. But if he's going to Atalanta, best of luck to him.
I'll let you go.
That is it for meaningful transfers. I mean, we're looking at stuff like Amrabat to United, who
a few other little ones.
Yeah, you got something?
Not big ones. Okay. Gaetano Castrovilli From Fiorentina, could be going to Bournemouth, looking at about €12 million plus €2 million in add-ons. Josko Vardiol has
Vardiol, yeah.
That's done to Manchester City, apparently. That's just stockpiling good players for no reason. Stop doing it.
I think he starts, and I think poor Akanji might get dropped.
They're two good players. Do you want another... there's a lovely tweet that floats around. I'll keep doing this every single week, and I probably will forever, of players Leeds missed out on.
Oh, you sound like Wenger now.
No.
We were in for that player.
Except we have evidence, which is the problem, which makes it worse. Much worse.
Okay.
Romano, there's a tweet floating around from Romano, and basically it's Leeds United in advanced talks with Josef Guardiola. Looks like a done deal. More information in the next 24 hours. Deal collapsed.
When was this?
In the same tweet, he writes, Leeds still working on Rodrigo De Paul as well. Both those deals fell through. This was 2 years ago when Leeds got promoted. Both fell through. Sliding door moments again, but missed out on Vardiol, who we looked like we were going to get. And then the commentary at the time was, he's probably a bit too young.
Like when Lewandowski was going to go to Blackburn.
Yeah. A bit too young, maybe a couple of years, and then you don't get him. You never get him. Now he's one of the best defenders in the world.
He's a good defender, Vardiol. Let's see if he can translate it into the Premiership from the German League, but he seems to be the business. But let's not forget, City and Pep have bought rake loads of defenders that haven't really gone on to be what they were supposed to be. I mean, they're stockpiling defenders, but what they're going to do in the centre half position, I don't know. Akanji, whether it's Akanji, Ake, Stones, they've got Diaz, now Vardiol. I mean, that's just for the centre half positions. It's bananas.
It's a lot of competition. I said stockpiling the defenders for the sake of stockpiling defenders. I just think that takes him away from anybody else in the Premier League from getting them, making them better. This happened.
And Laporte. Forgot about Laporte. Spanish international.
I'm Eric Laporte.
It's insane. I don't know what they're doing, but it's looking pretty scary, to be honest.
A fan tweeted him once and said, hi, Eric, blah, 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 blah. And his response was, who's Eric? And he went, I thought that's what your name was. Eric Laporte meant, I'm Eric Laporte.
Really?
Yeah, he goes, so he changed his name to Eric Laporte.
That's hilarious.
It was brilliant. So I thought, well done, pal. Damari Gray from Everton is not training with him at the moment. Apparently, he's been training in isolation. It looks like he could go to Fulham, which would be a replacement for Mitrovic if that deal ever gets done to Al Hilal.
Yeah.
Or whoever he's going to. I think it's Al Hilal he's going to. But and then I wrote someone down for Fulham as well.
Do you hear about Willian?
Willian Al-Shabaab. I'm glad you said that because I wrote down Fulham, Al-Shabaab, interested. Didn't write down the player's name.
He's reneged on the signature.
But they announced that it's done.
Fulham signed him last week. Yeah.
1 year deal.
Yeah, he's now gone. See ya. They came back in for him. You didn't know this? It's in the paper today. Now, I don't know whether it's confirmed, but apparently Willian's doing a runner on Fulham. And that when you said they announced it as a new signing, it's because he was technically a free agent. So when they re-signed him, that's why they announced it like a new signing instead of him renewing, because his contract had actually run out.
So he never signed it?
Apparently he did. But I don't know whether that means Fulham can now get a fee for him.
Well, it's 1 year contract, so Fulham won't do anything for him.
Well, they'll get something better than when he was a free agent. But apparently he's gone now as well. So Mitrovic and Willian gone. Big weight of expectation on... Well, they still got Paulinho, they got Pereira, they got Vinicius, who I think is a good player.
He's
young.
Vinicius
lad.
He's young.
He stepped up and played quite well when Mitrovic was gone at the end of the season. Absolutely. But they have a lot of work to do now. But Silva staying for now.
He said no to the big bag of money. Willian is saying yes, potentially to the big bag of money.
Yeah. Listen, no judgment here.
None.
No judgment here, but fair play for not taking the soup if you don't take the soup. But listen, Fulham have a lot of work to do, so we'll see what's going on. But Willian, it's been emotional, but it looks like he's gone.
Shame. I do like his goals. He scores some crackers.
Good player.
We'll move on to some rumours now and look at the rumour section of what's floating around inside APL this week.
Right, what do we got?
So, rumour section this week. We've talked enough about this player over the last couple of weeks. I'm a big fan of him, Michael Olise from Crystal Palace. Really, really good player. Fantastic passer of the ball. Looked like he's on a big, not just City.
No.
Chelsea as well are having a look.
Oh.
£30 million release clause apparently rumoured to be in his contract.
They love an attacking playmaker.
He's very good.
He is a good player.
I think he's a very good player. Nothing Palace can do about it. If it's a 30 million release and the release is activated, there's nothing they can do about it. Yeah. He will go.
Yeah.
City having a look. Again, I just think it's City bringing in a player because they could go somewhere else. They don't need him. We've already seen players
stockpiling it.
Maybe Elise is the attacking player that replaces Gundogan a little bit. Maybe. But I don't know if it is.
Sidwell, Drinkwater kind of territory where it's just...
Phillips,
hungry
Olise,
hip, just
same.
hoarding them in. But
changing.
I'd like to see him play, and he's
yeah.
not going to get that game time at City. But maybe he wants a couple of medals around his neck for a couple of seasons, and then get sold for 50 million quid, as seems to be the way City do these things.
A lot of players' careers have died because of doing it. Sitting on the bench 2 years and they've never recovered. Jack Rodwell struggled to recover.
I was literally just about to say Jack Rodwell.
Odd good season with the Nice last year. He's free agent now. I think he is. Anybody now. No one's picking him up.
I'd like to see Olise stay. I mean, with Zaha gone, I think Eze and Olise, I think they could do some really, really great things with Hodgson next season. But when the big boys come calling, it is difficult to turn them down. But I'd be going to Chelsea over City. So that is a fact.
Yeah. As you said, Chelsea expected to get rid of a lot more players as well to free up space.
Yeah.
Before we get into the Manchester United, because a lot of rumours about Manchester United players in and out, we've parked them for 1 second, do them all in one go.
Yeah.
If we look at Spurs, the big story that's floating around is Harry Kane. This is again Friday, the 4th of August that we're timestamping this. According to rumours, Bayern were in London yesterday having long conversations. Delegates met with each other with Daniel Levy, had long conversations about the deal. As you've already said, a bidding of over £80 million has gone in, €100 million has gone in, and Bayern Munich are saying that they want a decision on the player made tonight.
Yep. So by the time this comes out, this deal might already be done. But again, this could be something that takes days and days and days.
I just think if you give Daniel Levy a deadline like that, he just goes, no.
No, he's not a man really to but he does have a jailed Joe Lewis hanging over his head. Is he still in jail? He probably posted bail.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen since he got arrested.
I haven't seen any updates since we covered it. Allegedly. So I don't I don't know what they're going to have to do, but I think it'd be a mad move.
Yeah.
I think it's one of, if he goes to Bayern, I think it is one of the most tragically mismanaged careers in the history of the Premiership.
I want to ask you something now.
Go on.
Slightly loaded question.
Yes.
Disasi was your second choice centre-back. You lost out on him. He goes to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Well, Kane going to Bayern Munich. Are Bayern Munich putting together a strong enough squad? Did Disasi do? Oh, he went to Chelsea, sorry.
Chelsea, Kim Min-jae.
Kim Min-jae went to Bayern Munich. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
That's two centre-backs he went for. Gazumped. By other clubs. Yeah.
Well, the fact that he's gone to Bayern.
Yeah.
Kane is now going to Bayern.
Yeah.
Bayern are clearly starting to rebuild. It's a team here to take on Europe, because let's be honest about it, the Bundesliga is, you're assumed you're winning it.
Whatever.
It's what can you do in Europe now. So
does that
change your mind on Bayern at all? Look in the direction they're going in?
I had this argument today with a pal of mine, with Keane, about Bayern, and he still thinks they're, a force to be reckoned with, and I don't see it personally. If they sign Kane, yes. I mean, if you got Kane in your ranks, you can put in any sort of a push. But I mean, Kimmich, good player. Upamecano didn't work out. Neuer getting quite old now. They haven't replaced him yet.
Young players like Musiala coming through there as well.
They are good players.
Good young players.
They're not going to beat Barcelona and PSG and United and all these other clubs. They're ones for the future. Thank you very much. And I need to tap this as I talk. I think they're building a decent team, but I don't think they have enough to win the league this year. They fell over the line with it dripping down their leg last season, and shouldn't to an average Dortmund team. Listen, Kane moves the needle, but I don't think that Bayern are getting past the quarterfinals this year.
Okay,
we just don't. So we'll see.
That's fair. Cool. We've got Lavia.
Yeah.
From Southampton, has been dropped from Southampton's for their opening championship game tonight. They're kicking off a championship campaign. Dropped to the bench.
Looks like he's probably going to go.
Looks like it's done and dusted in Liverpool. He head off to Liverpool. Looks like that's getting closer and closer. And then let's hone in on the Manchester United players, because it's quite a lot. And West Ham and Everton are linked in with this as well. Maguire been linked with West Ham and Everton. McTominay been linked with a double move with Maguire to West Ham. And then you've got the potential outgoing of Donny van der Beek as well, potentially going to Sociedad,
Spain.
I did think he was going to have a second crack at Manchester United, getting a priest, but he did say himself in the interview in pre-season, I expect to go.
Yeah.
So that looks like it's happening.
Is there another manager in the world he could have hoped for to try and revive his career?
Perfect manager.
I mean, it was the perfect manager, and I think even Ten Hag realizes, listen, you were good, but not in this universe.
Not in this league,
unfortunately. Anyway. So, has to move on. It just shows you. I mean, he was in the short list for the Ballon d'Or that season.
I know,
It just goes to show you the levels that there are between these different leagues. So it's like this kid from Wolfsburg that's going to Spurs. Let's see how he does in the league when it's a different animal. Quickly, and another transfer that's supposed to be potentially happening is Sanchez from Brighton to Chelsea.
Saw that, and it looks like it's pretty much done.
Now, it seems Pochettino is keeping faith with Arrizabalaga.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. This guy has 9 lives. I don't know how he is still there. Maybe they just can't get a decent price for him, so they're like, might as well keep him. He does have ability.
Yeah.
But he's temperamental, but poorly disciplined, as we remember from his time with Sarri.
The cup final, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like Sanchez is swapping the bench at Brighton for the bench at Chelsea. And if you're going to have one bench over the other,
take the money.
Go to Chelsea.
Good
keeper though. I'd like to see him. Who was the Chelsea keeper back in the day who was perennially on the bench and he was very, very good? What was his name? Cudicini. Remember Cudicini?
Went to the MLS.
Great keeper.
Yeah,
and just got onto the bench and never. It was like Sergio Romero when he was at United, and I think Sanchez is going to be another one.
Cudicini went to Galaxy in the MLS and had a couple of decent games, then bombed.
Really
hard.
Really,
yeah.
Because he showed so much ability when he was between the sticks for Chelsea when he played.
I thought he had a decade plus in the MLS at that level, being a goalkeeper but the MLS post David Beckham.
Yeah.
You're thinking it wasn't great for a while. He'll do great over there. Just really didn't.
It's well, listen, best of luck to Sanchez if he gets to move to Chelsea. So
speaking of goalkeepers, there's 2 other goalkeepers floating around as well. David Raya.
Yeah.
To Arsenal, but also another Arsenal keeper on the way out is Matt Turner. Looks like he could be heading towards Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
You're looking at David Raya, 20 million plus 3 million add-ons is the bid.
Paltry.
Matt Turner is, I think it's only a couple of million. It's not big from Forest. But David Raya leaving a Brentford side who are a good side of a well-run club.
Yeah.
With a very good manager in Thomas Frank.
Great manager, yeah.
Packing it in. You think he would go to Arsenal as first choice?
There's no way he's not going there as first choice.
I think he's going as reserve. Unless they sell Ramsdale, and I just don't see that.
I will bet you a crisp €20 note on that. And witnesses. There's no way Raya is leaving Brentford to be number 2 at Arsenal. Oh, yeah. All his statistics are superior to Ramsdale's. Yeah. Despite Ramsdale doing as well as he did. And I think he's got a lot of love, given the interviews he's given to Sky Sports, speaking about his brother. His brother is gay, and he's talking about kind of struggles with that and kind of his youth career and stuff. I think he's got a lot of love. Do you know when he did the ad at the fish and chips and he did the kind of celebrate? I think Ramsdale has a lot of goodwill, and I think a lot of people like him, and he is a very good keeper, and he did well by Arsenal last year, a lot better than I thought he'd do. But it seems Raya across the board in nearly every single metric is better than him. And ball-playing goalkeepers are the kind of...
We've talked about that already.
On vogue thing at the moment, and it seems that Raya will bring that level of better footwork to Arsenal. And I think Arteta's kind of going the Pep route by being a bit ruthless with the keeper situation. And it's not where I would spend that money. I think they still need a striker. I thought goalkeeper would be pretty low down on that list, but
that's my take on it. I don't.
Arteta knows better.
I think they're going after the wrong positions right now. I think he's trying to upgrade little positions to close that gap on Man City and make sure they can sustain it the next time they get a crack at it. But I think he's going the wrong direction. I think Ramsdale's a fine goalkeeper. If you prove your tackling, you don't have to worry about the goal. Get the striker you need, but they don't seem to be looking at really any strikers. I think he's happy with Jesus there and Nketiah as a backup.
So far, I mean, last year you'd have a lot of United fans bemoaning De Gea despite him winning Golden Gloves and having these worldy performances. You could still see what he was detracting from the team.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an Arsenal fan in the land that would have said, oh yeah, we need to look at goalkeeper. Nah, Ramsdale just not quite doing it for me. Every Arsenal fan I spoke to was lauding Ramsdale.
Yeah, I think he was fine.
Delighted with him. So listen, let's see how Raya does, but I believe Ramsdale will probably be on the move. They'll get 30 million quid for Ramsdale.
Easy.
And he'll go to a good club, so we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to wrap up the first half of this before we get into the kind of the news that's going around the Premier League this week. But the final thing, we've got about a minute and a half left. Just real quick thoughts on Sofyan Amrabat to Manchester United. Real quick, there's rumours that Manchester United need to bring in money before they can go and get him.
Seems so.
Are you afraid of missing out on him?
No. It's dead on that we're going to get him. A lot of people still thinking that he's an average enough player that he's not really going to do a lot for United, not really going to challenge Casemiro. Amrabat's stats look poor because Fiorentina had the second highest level of possession in Serie A last year.
Right, okay.
So he didn't get the opportunities to do what he does in the same way he did when he was playing with Morocco.
Okay.
I believe the evidence in my eyes. I saw that competition. He was unbelievable in that World Cup, and I believe he's going to be able to replicate it in the league.
Cool. We'll see how that goes. We will take a quick transition. Right, so that brings us to the end of the transfer situation and the news that's floating around. Massive thanks, as always, to everyone who's watched the channel and supported us. Ron, thanks very much, as always, mate.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Right, we'll see you in the next one.
Take it easy.